Hi everyone, and welcome back as we are reaching the last week of the month of Scorpio, Cheshvan. I wonder how was this week for you. It's such a tremendous power of Scorpio. You know, Scorpio in Hebrew is akrav. It's 4 letters, akrav. When we look at the letters, for example, the first letter and the last letter, Ayin and Bet, and then we have the middle letters, Kuf and Resh, both forming 2 words. Ayin and Bet is coming from, it's actually the initial of Ayin Bet, or Shivim Veshtaim, or the 72 names of God. And Kuf and Resh forming a word that is Kar, which is cold. And it's also this 2 letters that are in the word Krav, which is fight or war, or Korban, which is victim. And this whole month of Scorpio, it's such a black and white in a way, like in our elevation of our consciousness, we can connect to the energy of Ayin Bet, of the 72 names of God, which Ayin Bet also is the energy of mercy, it's mind over matter, is creation with beyond logic, of tremendous abundance, is connecting to the Creator within, is the revelation of light. It's tov, it's like good. Or if we are maintaining the lower consciousness, which is connecting us to the consciousness of korban, which victim, or connecting us to the consciousness of coldness, we feel cold. We feel that we're constantly in a battle, krav, constantly in a fight, in a war, and fighting home. It's fighting ourselves. When we fight in ourselves, or we're in a consciousness of victim, we obviously connecting to lack of faith, lack of certainty, and therefore we can really cannot really impact anything in our life or our surrounding, or even the world, as we shared in previous session. When we connecting to the elevated consciousness, to the consciousness of the light, the consciousness of Tree of Life, the consciousness of Ayin Bet, of the 72 name, obviously we are able to transform. As we mentioned also previous sessions, is the bitterness to sweet. So as we reaching the final week of this month of Scorpio, we have 2 main 72 name combination that can really help us to connect to more of vitality, of life, of elevation of consciousness with Ayin Resh Yud, which known to be reaching the level of certainty, Ayin Resh Yud. Certainty in what? Certainty with the light, certainty that the light is within you, certainty that everything has a purpose, certainty that all is good, everything will be good. Known to be as the certainty of Vadaut in Hebrew is also Emunah, which is faith. And you know, when we're talking about faith or Emunah or certainty, we know that the Scorpio as a month is controlled by the Mars, by star Mars, which is a strong and determined planet, whose energy grants Scorpio the capacity for incredible certainty, incredible certainty. In Kabbalah, we speak about Emunah, as I mentioned, or faith, in those things that are real and lasting. Scorpions have the unique potential to cultivate such strong emunah. Emunah, certainty, can be focused, be on the goal, and that even if something stands in the way of their original intentions, they can easily switch gear and to say, I know that which made me change my direction is what I had to do. And the truth is that the most of the time we have certainty in negativity, not the positive. We live in a consciousness that say, if this is happening, it cannot be good. Instead of one that says, this difficult thing is happening, I don't understand it and I don't appreciate it yet. I know that God's love underlies everything and that I'm a part of that love. Therefore, the goal of this week, as we finalize in this month, is to use the strength of the Scorpio energy and to see the light in front of us at all time. Shiviti Hashem lenegdi tamid, it says. Like as seeing the light in front of me all the time, to understand that the root of all good or bad things that happen to a person is the light. This is Ein Reshut. And as the Rav used to say, Rav Berg, as used to say, if a person sees evil in front of himself all the time, then everything negative will happen to him, God forbid. But if he sees the light in front of him and the good is always being purified and is developing, then everything that is good will happen to him. The point of what we're trying to say here, what we're learning here, is to give you and I, to give us that you need to have certainty that the light is all good, in spite of whatever difficulties that one experiences, or if you may experience. Yes, you may feel sadness, you may feel pain, you may feel hurt. People around you may leave, some for good reasons, some for not such a good reason. But if inside of you, you connect to the light of the Creator, then you connect to your soul. Regardless of what is going on around you, you are and always will be one with the Creator. And this is basically the message we received this week with Ein Reshut. As we see the good, again, we are able to act with goodness. When we act with goodness, we already learned that we can tilt the scale that affect the world. And this is what another understanding we have, we strengthen in the understanding of Ein Shin Lamed, which is the second combination of 72 names correspond with this week. Ein Shin Lamed is like global transformation. So we can see throughout this whole month that we understand how much it very important is when we keep focus on our spiritual work, on elevating our consciousness, when we have this emunah, when we have the faith, when we have certainty with the light of the Creator, we awaken the ability and the light within each one of us to understand that we are here to impact, and every action that we have impact and can transform the world. And interesting enough that the portion of this week is the portion of Chaye Sarah, the life of Sarah, which is really speaking about the death of her, and like how Abraham is searching for, in the story, the biblical story of this portion is searching for where to bury Sarah. And we know from the Zohar that Sarah was the reincarnation of Eve. And Abraham, Isaac, Jacob is a representation of a part of the soul of Adam and Eve, Adam. And each one of them, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, corrected sparks of that soul and of Adam. And what they have done, what Abraham and Sarah have done, they restored and they lived and they experienced within their action, within them, the force that we know, Tchiyat HaMetim, which is immortality. And the story of Adam and Eve is, they were tempted by the snake, which is tempted by the opponent, by the evil inclination, to eat from the tree of knowledge, good and bad. And if they eat from that tree, they become they become mortal. So when they ate from that tree, they didn't die, but they lost the power of immortality, this force of immortality. So, subject of death, mavet in Hebrew, is is very interesting. It's painful. It's very interesting because the moment the person or soul come into this earth, the moment the person is born, it's already doomed to die eventually, as we live this in our life. And every day, the person is getting closer to his day of passing from this world. And people often think what will be next after that. It's really mixed with a lot of emotions, especially fears. And what it is that in this week we understand with the power of certainty and Ein Shin Lamed and Ein Reshut, we have so much information that we can share with the world to really awaken the power of immortality. And what we are learning from Sarah and Abraham, but what we're learning from Sarah is the ability to take control in our life and to awaken the power of immortality in our own life. And it seems that it's so far away, but when we speak about death, it's not necessarily just speaking the death of a body. It's a situation where we are stuck, that there are no solution, that we feel that there's no vitality there. So we want to awaken this week more vitality also within our life, because when we connect to Ein Bet of Akrav, as I mentioned, right? When we connect to Ein Bet, the whole message of the 72 name is when we scan, even just scan the chart of the 72 name. So brilliant from the Rav to teach us that many years ago. Just scan this, he said. When we scan it, we connect to vitality, to injection of life in our life that we cannot achieve in any other way. It's so powerful. There's a joke that I've heard once from one of our greatest teacher who passed 7 years ago, Shimon Tzarfati. He shared a joke once, and he said about this person that went to a doctor, and he says, "Doctor, really, I want to live to 190. Can you do everything that's possible? Can you share with me what I can do? All that possible that I can live till 190? So the doctor asked him, do you smoke? He says, no. Do you drink alcohol? He says, no. Do you sleep late? He says, no. And the doctor is asking him, so why do you want to live to 190? It's so boring. Life is for us to enjoy them, to really enjoy them. And there's no really a problem with this desire to really have fun and enjoy. Why a person wants to live forever? Why? To live for 190 and even more. How can we awaken the desire of immortality? It's like, when we look at our DNA, we only use 1% of the DNA that we have. It's like each one of us were born with a DNA to achieve immortality. And it doesn't mean to stay old forever. It's to achieve, to arrive to 200 years and more, but live in a young vitality life. And this is something that, if I shared with you at the beginning of this whole month session a few weeks ago, that we want it all, right? But we want it all. We don't want to be acting with in old behavior or attitude. We want to be living young forever. So when we, God forbid, when a person is getting older and older, when he reaches the age of 90, God forbid, is like counting his maybe days to die, and God forbid. When a person is retiring, what is searching for? What is waiting for? What is retiring out of life? No. Each one of us has the DNA of immortality. We're told in this portion especially. The thing is like it says, "Akofer betchiyat hametim kofer ba'ikar. It says from the Talmud. And if the person that is like dismiss the concept of Tchiyat HaMetim is like dismissing like the most essential idea, this essential thing of this life in general. If a person doesn't have a certainty with immortality, is losing the understanding to the cause of why we're here in the first place in this world. And the question is why it's so important for us to understand this. And the reason I'm also bringing this topic because the 25th day of the month of the 26th day of the month of Scorpio is the elevation date of Rabbi Avraham Azulai. It's a great Kabbalist that lived in the time of the Ari that spoke about the whole energy of immortality, and him himself like revived himself in a story, like in the main story of Rabbi Avraham Azulai, how he revived himself and by in action of saving his people at that time. And I encourage you to read and ask your teachers more about Rabbi Avraham Azulai, and I'm sure that we'll have classes on the Kabbalah.com site to really connect more with this greatest Kabbalist. First, we need to understand that we are not even aware and understand what does it really mean, Tchiyat HaMetim, or immortality. And when we speak about the death of Rabbi Avraham Azulai like a tzaddik or a righteous person, and Rachel Imenu that was in the 11th day of the month of Scorpio, we really awaken and connect into the energy of this righteous person, of this particular person that really finished the purpose that he came into this world, like he finished his correction. But one of the things that the righteous people constantly spoke about, also Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, is really people that received or reached the energy of immortality, of Tchiyat HaMetim. And we need to really remember the essence of the Creator is to share and to give us endlessly, no limitation, all the time. And it says, "Aniglu lecha sha'arei mavet ve'sha'arei tzel mavet." Death, mavet is death, is not connected to us. We are people that need to find those gates, and there are a lot of gates that are open to us, that open for each one of us to save ourselves from death, to run away from death, from every place that the death control it. And the reason the Zohar is saying of control of the death, that death is controlling someone's life or humanity, is because our actions are closing those gates for life, for better life. People caused those gates to be locked and closed. And for most people, those gates don't even exist. And when it's talking about Sarah, that she was laughing when she heard that she's going to conceive and she's going to have a son, it's not about that she taught us a lesson about laughter, which is good by itself, to laugh and to enjoy life, right? But she laughed. What was the meaning of the lesson of Sarah? Is the understanding that knowledge is a connection. And if we don't have the knowledge, we are not able to connect. Which means most people that know about that, this is why, like, there's a connection to that. What do I mean? Like, if a person knows something like the sun is shining, the sun is shining, right? But here we don't talk about this. We speak about like the understanding of what immortality is. We need to know what immortality is so we can connect to immortality. So the first stage is to understand and to connect again to what is the purpose of creation. is leitiv to lenivrav, is that the purpose of creation that we will enjoy and have the best life on earth. Our vessel is infinite, and the purpose that we are limited, or our vessel is limited, or is to earn the light. But to earn the light, to be part of the co-creation. And our goal is to go back to be infinite with no limitation. So the first stage of immortality is to cause the physicality or matter to disappear, because everything that is physical is an illusion. And everything that is physical, again, is an illusion. So practical, God forbid, if someone has some sort of a blockage in his body, the purpose of immortality is to understand that each person has the DNA to reproduce whatever we desire. So when we speak about, again, immortality, is not to let ourselves fall into the government of the Satan, Memshalat HaSatan, or to fall into the land of the evil inclination, or the other side. We don't want to come to a place where we want to reach the end. There is no end. There's no end of the body. There's no end of anything. We want to be reaching to a place where we understand that we have the DNA in our own body, that it cannot be controlled by the evil inclination. And who is stopping this process of this understanding is only us. So we want to connect through Ein Reshut, certainty beyond logic, that we, each one of us, have the ability to connect to the consciousness, that we have the DNA within each one of us for renewal, for reproducing, for reviving everything we desire. Everything we desire. We have the ability to stop and to overcome every disease. We have the power and the will that are able us to connect or reconnect back to this DNA that we received from time of creation. This force that doesn't let us release ourselves from our anger, from our sadness, from what people are thinking about us. This force is called Malchut. When we overcome Malchut, when we overcome our fear, our worries, me, I, our selfishness, we want to overcome this Malchut. And there is a paradox, right? Why cells are dying in our body? Because the consciousness of the cell is not to let go. And what is that we need to let go? The idea is we need to constantly let go of our fears, of our limitation, because our rejuvenation, this is what creating rejuvenation, the cell needs to die in order to rebirth again. So what we are doing, we're not letting the cell to die. In our life, we're not letting go. We're not letting go. And this is the reason that there's feeling of death in someone's life. This is the paradox. The paradox is we need to give the cell to renew itself. We need to give the cell to die and to allow a space that he will rebirth again. So what is the message that we're receiving with understanding of what is Ein Reshut, what is certainty, what is this fate? Is that we need to let go and to allow a new thing to come and recreate or revive or rebuild or rebirth in our life and enter our life. So we need to let go of all those things that are not serving us, to let go of that, to allow other things a new thought, to awaken in our life, new people to come into our life, like complete rejuvenation, because we're stopping the process of rejuvenation. And it exists in each one of us. We are letting go. This is the only thing that we have in our process. You know, I'm sure that all of you know the story about the monkey and the banana. Just to remind us that story, you can actually watch it also on YouTube, how people catching monkeys. It's horrible by itself, but this is like scientifically how people catching monkeys. They take in a kind of like a box or a container, and they put inside bananas, and they leave an empty, like a small, they leave a small space where the monkey can put his fist or his arm and put it in the box in order to take the banana. So what happened? The monkey, in that research, the monkey is coming and like putting his hand into this box, and he's trying to take out this banana, but he cannot, because the space only allow his fist to go in, but not to take this banana out. So the thing is, the monkey doesn't want to let go of the banana. So what happened? This is the way he's being caught, because he doesn't want to let go in order to receive his freedom. He doesn't want to let go of the banana, and he's being caught. Honestly, each one of us has those levels of moments of not letting go of this banana. We don't want to let go of a thought that is destroying us, people that are not good for us, behaviors, belief system. We're not to let go, even though we know, or maybe we don't know, but we know for sure that it can destroy our life. So we are not releasing what we call malchut. We're not releasing malchut. If we release, we activate in this DNA of new thoughts, new awareness versus nostalgia. Okay? So when we release, we activate in the DNA of immortality. And it says, כי כך הוא דרכו של הבורא, אם נותן אושר לאדם, לזון את העולם. Because this is the way of the Creator. He gives happiness to you, to all humanity, to really feed the world. And all that we need to do with our consciousness, is to understand this, because sometimes when we activate, not sometimes, we activate the desire for the self alone, for me, by me, thinking about me, myself, and I, it's we activating death, okay? So when someone is sick and we say the power of praying, the power of praying for others is really being an influence of activating the DNA of immortality. So immortality is not just only to receive money. It's like, yeah, I want to have more abundance of money, but I want to do it so I'll be able to share it. Because if I will not be able to share it, I don't want it at all. You know how much blessing we have in our life that we don't say, why me? Because we take it for granted. We really take our blessing for granted. And this is why we stop that DNA of immortality. Immortality, it's a blessing. It's a blessing, and we deserve to control it and to have it all. We deserve. We have a gift, but we prefer to hold on still to the thing that controls us. We need to change this consciousness and transform this consciousness and to open ourselves up to a new consciousness, a new blessing. We live in time that the world can be one, because there is no stability, there is no security about anything, right? But in the same time, this is the best time. The best time, because we have, each one of us, an opportunity to create change in our own world and the world as a whole. Here and now, to let go of this banana, and to understand that each one of us, we have something to release, right? To let go. So as long as we are holding on to this banana, we are losing. We are losing our vitality for being released and exposed. that we are preventing ourselves to really receive a new opportunities, rejuvenation. We stop in ourselves, unfortunately, to invite new people, new opportunities to our life. We want to receive help, right? To move on to our next level. But the only way we can do it is by letting go. Letting go. How we let go? We get in the support of Ein Reshut, the certainty. Everything will be okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. The universe is challenging us. If we really want to take part in those moments when we're willing to let go, it's challenging us. There's a story that the Rav used to share once that about this king that he has one dear only daughter, and when she reached the age of marriage, he says, what is the solution for the next king? Is that whoever wants to marry my daughter will come and ask for her hand. Whoever thinks that he should be the next king. So, of course, all the young boys, men in that kingdom had a desire to be the king and had a desire to marry his only daughter. But what the king has done, he put a lot of obstacles on the way, all the way to his kingdom. And what he saw, like really the person that has a lot of desire and only true desire, that didn't care about all those challenges and went all the way and reached, he will basically win my daughter and win the kingdom. The gates are open for us. The gates are open for us to awaken our desire to really bring good to the world, to impact the world, to be in relationship, and to go through, but we need to understand that we need to go through all those challenges, whatever they are, and all that will come with mercy, and to understand that the concept of immortality is to let go of the things that are blocking us, are delaying us, and by releasing, we can get even younger. The DNA is already exists in each one of us. Remember that. Remember that. We're releasing things that are not serving us anymore. We get in the power of immortality. We become younger. We become younger. We receive the vitality to follow through and to really connect in such a great way to lasting fulfillment. Therefore, we can impact the world. So, Ein Reshut, Ein Shin Lamed are the two powerful 72 names that helping us to connect to the power of immortality. That we are bringing rejuvenation, rebirth, new thought, new people, new opportunities into our life. I wish lots of blessing to all of us that will always connect to this power of immortality. Thank you for joining me, and have a wonderful, wonderful week.